our beloved New Day, one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history, they were not always super over. They were a tag team that was struggling to find their way. And this is what Big E had to say about the original plans for the New Day. Fair use.
And he would cut these promos for Dusty we would usually have these hard outs. You have a minute. Maybe he lets you give a minute and a half. Alex Riley and Abe Washington were the two guys who had an exception to just go. Because those guys, and people didn't get to see the best of Alex Riley as a promo either. Dude was just incredible.
Alex Riley was awesome.
Also just a masterful talker. But so we were in FCW. It was me. Byron Saxton was still an active wrestler at the time. It was me, Saxton, Woods, and Abe. And Abe was kind of we all talked, but Abe was kind of positioned as the leader. And we had this group that we initially called, and Abe was very much someone who, unfortunately, liked to push the envelope a little bit too much. I'm not going to talk about the reason he got fired. It's pretty, you can look that up. But he's someone who.
All right. So if anybody doesn't know, this is who Abraham Washington is. He had a very short stint on television in WWE, and on his main, if you guys remember his ECW talk show that Big E will discuss, Abraham Washington, he would come up on the main roster as a manager for Primo and Epico originally, and Rosa Mendez, and then he would turn on them and he would become the manager of the Primetime Players, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. And if you do not know what he got fired for, this is the notorious joke that got him fired. Abraham Washington, he will have a live mic when he will be managing the Primetime Players, and this is what he said that got him cut.
Ryan at a hotel in Colorado. He's unstoppable.
That's what got him the axe. So let's continue with Big E.
Always like to kind of to put his foot over the line and see how far we could push things. We originally called the group the Klan, and it was supposed to be, and it stood for like Citizens Liberation of American Nationalists. It was supposed to be this militant black group, much in the vein of the Nation of Domination. We all, grew up loving the nation, and we wanted to do something in that vein. That group it was initially the Klan, then we became the Plan because the office said we're not doing that. So it was we exchanged citizens for peoples. So that was it, and we came out in white and red. So that very first suit that you see Woods come out in, that was like his old stuff from when we were pitching the Plan in FCW. So we never got to do that on FCW TV. We did a few weeks of that. And then eventually the office in FCW said, it's dead. You guys can't do this anymore. Move on. But Woods at the time, so he talks about having the worst debut of all time because he comes up as R-Truth's friend on the main roster. And, almost right away.
When Woods debuted, he did debut as R-Truth's friend. And also he would debut with Truth, taking out Brodus Clay and dancing with the Funkadactyls, Cameron and Naomi.
He's kind of getting squashed, but he comes up to me. It was Extreme Rules of 2014, and he and Truth had a handicap match with Rusev. They both get killed. Really, Woods gets killed within, I feel like, a few seconds, and he was done for. And then Truth gets squashed right after. That same day, I dropped the IC title to Bad News Barrett, who was red hot at the time. And the death knell, I think, as a babyface, is when you go out there. The worst thing is when they don't care at all. But to have fans, when I'm blowing my comeback and they're booing everything. They don't want to see me. I wouldn't want to see me. I was also very boring. Character was kind of dead in the water. Barrett was a lot of fun. So that same day, Woods is dead in the water. I'm dead in the water. Kofi's a guy who he's already 5, 6 years into his main roster run. Already a guy is going to be good, but kind of just seen as by the office as a good hand. And
Kofi got a lot pretty quickly. Kofi, I believe his first night on the main roster, not the ECW roster, but the Raw SmackDown roster, I believe he beat Sheamus for the U.S. title. I'm almost positive. He's also the Intercontinental Champion fairly quickly and Tag Team Champion along with CM Punk, and later on with R-Truth and Evan Bourne as Air Boom. But Kofi got a lot early in his career. Also, the infamous 2009 main event feud with Randy Orton. But Kofi, around that time, he really wasn't doing nothing at all. And he seemed like he had been there forever because he had accomplished a lot during that time.
And so we kind of get to Kofi later, but Woods goes in and pitches the writers that day, pitches them this idea of doing a new Nation of Domination. They essentially laugh him out of the room. And he comes up to me after my match. I dropped the title and he said, "Hey, what do you think about starting this group? Kind of similar to what we did in FCW." And I said, I got nothing else, man. And I always respected Woods as someone who was a very, very creative guy, just someone who just always pitching, always thinking outside the box. So I thought, man, you know what? He's someone who I think has a ton of ideas. Let's give it a shot. And honestly, like that same day, I was told by Creative, I was told by Road Dogg, look, we like you, but we got nothing for you. Essentially, we need you to go into pre-tapes and just try stuff. And I went into pre-tapes that same day after, I don't know if it was before or after talking to Woods, and we just tried stuff and just tried a bunch of deliveries. And actually, the last thing I ended up trying was, like, I grew up in the church. I grew up actually doing some preaching as a teenager myself in my dad's church. So that oratory style was always very natural for me. And I never wanted to do anything sacrilegious or blasphemous. So I always kind of avoided that. But I just thought, you know what? I think there could be a way to do this in a way that's not offensive to people who believe or Christians. Like I'm not trying to do anything that upsets people. So I went into pre-tapes and started doing next week. I am about to grab the time, just going in. And for me, I feel like I can just riff and just do it. And the great thing with that delivery is it's always easy if you lose your place. It's always, I said, it's very easy to have a moment to repeat and give yourself a moment to kind of come up with something. So that style of promo and delivery was something very natural for me. And so just knowing that the office really had nothing for me, that Woods was in need of something, I just said, let's do this, man. Let's give it a shot. And Woods first came up with the idea of adding Kofi. And I love Kofi. We interacted a little bit in, like, we all trained he and I both trained still at Cena's gym. So I'd see him in Tampa from time to time. But my fear is they would never let him turn heel. And I thought for us to work as a group, we needed to be heels. So from there, we eventually, I don't know if I fought it as much. I was just like, I don't know. But eventually, I get on board and I say, okay, let's talk to Kofi. And interestingly, like Kofi at the time was kind of not really having the best time wrestling. And it was interesting. Like he was thinking, maybe I want to retire early. Maybe I want to be done. I feel like I've kind of hit my glass ceiling. I think I'm good. But eventually we were kind of floored with how excited he was at the idea, and he was in. So we just kind of went from there, and we ended up spending months and months pitching that militant group. We actually got to be on TV. We were in South Florida when Woods comes out in that white and red suit and tells us we're no longer going to be glad handing and kissing babies and shaking hands, and we're going to take what we want. And we did that for about a week. That idea was shelved, and then we had to go back to repitching. But eventually we got to be the New Day that people knew and loved. But it was months and months and months of pitching of, the three of us were on house shows together. We didn't have a name, but we got to work on a chemistry. But we very quickly realized we have something here. We see the business the same. We want the same for each other. We never wanted one leader. We always liked the idea of all three of us being viewed in the same plane. And we just had so much fun together. So we knew, like this idea, it's worth dying on this hill for, because we all were we were all searching for something. And we also had to give a ton of credit for Mike Notarelli, who now he writes on Tulsa King. He wrote for The Resident, for Fox. He's just doing a bunch of incredible things out in Hollywood. But he was our writer in WWE at the time. And the way he fought for us in those meetings and really was our voice. He was our ear in those meetings. If it wasn't for him, we never would have gotten off the ground.
All right. So that was Big E on the original plans for the New Day. Now, if you guys don't remember, this is what the New Day originally was. As you'll see here, you'll see Woods. Hold on one second. You guys, you'll see Woods in the microphone, and then you'll also see Biggie here with the choir in the background. And then there's also another picture. There's a picture of Kofi, if I can find it. But this was not it. And I remember going to the Royal Rumble in 2015, and they had a match. Nobody was feeling it. Nobody was fans at all. It took months. And eventually they would put the tag titles on them, defeating Cesaro and Tyson Kidd at Extreme Rules in 2014. And after that, that's when they pretty much got their momentum, and then would become, by SummerSlam, become the most popular act in wrestling. So let me know what you guys think about the original plans for the New Day. Do you guys remember what they were doing before they became the most popular thing in WWE? Did you like Big E's story? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right, last story. All right, image file. Where are we at here? All right. Will Bayley be all elite? Last week, Mercedes Moné, she posted on her Instagram story this graphic of Bayley with some editing by me, but she posted this video, this image saying, put my banner up. That's what I got. Will Bayley be all elite? Last week, Mercedes Moné, she posted this to her Instagram story, and it's a picture of her at Wrestle Dream with Bayley, with her name, Davina Rose, which is her independent wrestling name. And it got the internet speculating what will be going on with Bayley and what is Bayley's contract status. And Bayley's contract status is that her contract is still up to sometime this year, and she has not there's no news about her re-signing her contract. And this is giving some speculation. And if anybody's been watching WWE, you can kind of, I don't want to say you can see it, but you kind of feel a lot of frustration for Bayley. Bayley is somebody who's been a focal point in the women's division, but in the last few years, she's pretty much got the short end of the stick. She infamously had this look on her face at WrestleMania, when she saw the return of Paige. A couple years ago, she got taken out of her WrestleMania spot for Becky Lynch. So a lot of people, they feel for Bayley. And with what's happened with her and Lyra Valkyria, there seems to be an out here. If you guys are not aware, Lyra Valkyria, she did turn on Bayley after their tag team championship loss. Cut a phenomenal promo. I did not know Lyra Valkyria had that in her, but she cut a phenomenal promo. Like, look at this. Like, just this look on Lyra Valkyria alone is fantastic. This was awesome. I thought this was her best promo to date. I thought it was executed very well, and it was all viable because if you guys remember, Bayley was also going through some kind of a identity crisis as well. So it was really warranted for Lyra Valkyria to actually do this. And that got people thinking, it's like, okay, well, would this feud be the thing that get Bayley out of WWE? Because one thing what WWE has done in the last few years, they will let you do a program and write you off TV and let your contract run out. And Bayley is somebody who I can actually see potentially leaving WWE, because I'm always had the mindset like, look, it's like switching teams. It's like, all right, like what else can you do here? And at this point, with all this influx of new talent, as great as Bayley has been, what else can she really do? Bayley's been at the top of the card for almost her entire run in WWE on the main roster. But what else can she actually do? Now, she can go to AEW and bring something fresh together, and her and Mercedes Moné on a different platform, they could potentially make magic happen again. One of my favorite matches is the Bash from NXT Brooklyn. They could possibly I don't think they'll recapture that magic, but I think that a feud in AEW will be warranted and matches in AEW are warranted. And I think it will actually be something fresh for AEW as well, because Mercedes Moné will not be coming back to WWE anytime soon. But I do think the fact that Bayley and Lyra had that falling out, and Bayley's promo on Raw on Monday night saying, "Hey, I want to meet face to face with you next week," is going to be telling of how much we get from these two going forward. And I do think that this is a way for Bayley to say her goodbye in WWE by putting Lyra Valkyria over and improving Lyra Valkyria's character. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about Bayley potentially going to AEW, and also this Lyra Valkyria heel turn. Let me know what you guys think in the comment, guys. Thanks. All right, guys. So that is it for the show. So thank you for everybody for tuning in. Make sure to thumbs up, turn your post notifications, and thank you for the algorithm. I'm Aaron Lord, and I will see you guys soon.
Got him now, put him down right now, hit him with the palm handle. Tuning up the band, y'all don't understand. Fist of Superman, it's a SummerSlam. Here we go again. Fans marking man, I hate my balls. Shut the Vince McMahon, it ain't safe to land off the cell. Fans love it, ain't hard to tell. Talking madness, awesome. Well, what I'm cooking, man, y'all off the smell.